Okay. How I learned about Tommy Robinson and formed my opinion. Alright. I thought this would be a good thing to add to it because, you know, the trolls give me food for thought, which is interesting. And they helped me write my book yet on the persecution of Tommy Robinson. But I'm going to explain to them here how they have been, like, you know, regurgitating fake news and bias and everything. But they really need, how you need to evaluate a person and figure out what they're like and understand their character, and then how you form an opinion. So I figured this is a good time to discuss how to form an opinion about a person. I just recently had a gentleman this week who commented and said that he had heard things from people that said that, oh, Tommy Robinson was bad, but then he did some investigating for himself, and then he found out that, you know, Tommy Robinson is not so bad. So the point is, he had been fed on fake news, and when he looked into it for himself and formed his own opinion, he wasn't forming an opinion from somebody else. Then he realized that he had been lied to. So, alright. I first heard about Tommy Robinson on Twitter, probably around 2013 or so. 13, 14, somewhere around there. And I was conservative on Twitter. I followed all the conservatives. So when the pops up who to follow or who to follow me, I'm trying to remember. I don't think he might have followed me first. He might have. But anyway, so he pops up along with all the conservatives. So I look over his account and I see his case, and that's when he had his book out about being the enemy of the state, and I was reading his case about, he said how the government was persecuting him and everything. I bought the book because I thought his story was unique, and it was definitely concerning. And I even chatted with him a little bit one time on Twitter, which is really neat. So I remember that. So I remember meeting him. And so I looked at his book, and I researched online, and of course, you know, the left wings would say, oh, we don't like him. But bottom line is, here, you can tell the character of a person by the character of their enemies. Now for me, I'm a conservative. And I'm a conservative because I believe in Christian principles. I'm against, you know, things like abortion and promiscuity and all these things, all these left-wing causes that they promote. And so bottom line, I'm against communism, you know, socialism, those kind of things, because it's bad for people. I believe in freedom. So, when you have the mainstream media and the left-wing politicians who are known to have terrible character, when I see them going after Tommy Robinson or going after Russia or going after anybody, I can bet that that person is a good person because the left is going after them. And also, the other conservatives, you watch what the other conservatives say and to form your own opinion. If some other conservative that you trust says this person is okay, then you're like, okay, yes, I think he is all right. But then, of course, that just because people tell you, just because their enemies have terrible character, and like I said, Tommy Robinson's enemies are terrorists. They are. They are elitist, globalist politicians. I mean, how much more proof do you need? The person's enemies, the people who don't like him, have horrible character. Their character is awful. And so that's another clue that the person the awful people hate is a good person. And finally, I said, you can't just listen to your conservative friends. You have to form an opinion for yourself. So you need to listen to them talk. You need to watch their videos. You need to, like I said, read what they have to say. You know, read what both sides have to say. Because that's one thing the liberals are against today. They're against hearing both sides because they are totalitarians. They are just really awful. So anyhow, you got to watch what the person themselves say. They say their cause is, and also see how other people react to them. And so therefore, I came to the conclusion that Tommy Robinson is a normal, average person who is fighting for freedom. He is. And he's fighting for, like I said, against the globalists, against the elitists. He's pro-Brexit. He's, you know, he's for conservative things. He is not against immigration. He's just like the rest of us conservatives. We want and controlled, and we want sensible immigration. And conservatives are very tolerant. The left is not tolerant. The other day in Tommy Robinson's latest video, he was, he was waiting to talk to that politician who was too scared to talk to him. he was talking to an elderly gentleman who said he was a socialist. Now, the left would have you believe that conservatives would say, oh, a conservative meets a socialist, that means they probably beat them up and hated them and did something mean. Of course not. The socialist told Tommy Robinson that he thought that he had been treated unfairly and he liked his cause. And, of course, Tommy Robinson said he was very happy to meet this old man. He was a socialist. And that is tolerance in action. That is tolerance in action. You know, people, you may disagree with some core issues, but you can still find common ground and find ways to agree. So, of course, I don't agree with socialism either, but if somebody's going to be normal and a human being and says, you know, such and such is wrong, I'll say, okay, yes, that person, I'll give them credit. So, therefore, and all these left-wing groups, like the internet thing that tried to ban Tommy Robinson and the YouTube, all the left wing, which is a horrible organization. It's not an organization, but it's a group, a horrible organization, horrible ideology, promotes terrorism, promotes anti-Christian sentiments, and they're the ones who are after Tommy Robinson. So, I don't think I need to ask you anymore. We know who the bad one is. And we need to fight for freedom, and so that is how I formed my opinion and became a fan of Tommy Robinson. And besides, you see hundreds of thousands of people in Britain that like him. And also, I said, when his arrest, there were people all over the world, hundreds of thousands of people all over the world, marching Free Tommy marches in countries that were not even Britain. So that sounds something pretty amazing. He's a freedom fighter, and all people can identify him. All people who are oppressed by these tyrannical governments and tyrannical left-wing media, they can identify with Tommy Robinson. And that's why setting him free was important. And meanwhile, these leftists, these globalists, these billionaires and these billionaire kids, they just sit there and gnash their teeth and copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste material that is incompetent, irrelevant, and immaterial, based purely on opinion, regurgitated bias, and fake news. All right. So, that's how you form an opinion. See who their enemies are. Listen to your trusted friends. Watch both sides of the issue. See both sides, and then form your opinion. God save the UK. God save America, and let freedom ring.